Uh, what's good, everybody? It's your boy 313 JMO. We're here for a mini dual roundtable with me and Andrew. We'll see if some more people join. And I just wanted to say hello to you all out there, man. And I'm gonna start the show. It's Free Smoke Thursday for all my people in the chat, and these Atlanta fans are feeling very confident. So we just gonna get things started. All right, guys. So I'm gonna start with simply how confident are you going into this game? Because I think every game, last game, like I said, I think I was like like 70% confident. And one thing that I was very, very sure that we wouldn't dominate this team. I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna barely win because we suck. And they stomped them out. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little bit different. But
Right.
I was very confident Minshew was going to carve us up because he has done it to better defenses, specifically the Titans. Like so, but how confident are you going into this game? You know, regardless of the fact that Matt Patricia is trash and we want him fired, I just want fans to realize we have to separate this coach. We know they garbage, like we know, but we still got to talk about the game. You feel me? Like we
Right.
got to
No, for
talk
sure.
about the game. We know these guys are not it, but end of the day, if your players show up, we seen Jason Garrett win 12 games, bro, and he was trash. So your players show up, things can happen. But so how confident are you going into this game?
Look, I was very confident at the start of the season. When Atlanta was trash, their whole defense was hurt, Julio was banged up, everyone was hurt. Now, I don't care what they did to the Vikings. That honestly didn't mean anything to me. For me, I look at the team in general, and it's a 50-50 split, man. I know Matthew Stafford's going to show up, and he's going to be pissed because we lost on that bull crap call last time we versed them. So I know he's going to show up, but it's honestly going to come down to if we can contain their freaking wide receivers, because they have Calvin healthy and they have Julio healthy. So it's going to be interesting. It's pretty much going to be who doesn't mess up the most in this game.
So, it's already an unusual night because me and Andrew was agreeing. Like my confidence in this game hasn't changed from the beginning of the year. Beginning of the year, I felt like, I know this is not going to make sense, but y'all know what I mean. I felt a 50-50 game in the Lions' favor.
Yeah.
And that's how I still feel. I feel like it's a 50-50 game, but the Lions could win this game. They could easily lose this game. I felt the same way about the Saints game, and it was a 50-50 game until we let them score 5 touchdowns instead of 2 straight. But we ain't gonna go there.
Right. In the past,
right? Like we not gonna go there. But I'm just saying, let me shout out some of the people in the chat. We got Joey Cappins in the building. What up, though? We got Dat Z with the Go Blue logo. Let's see what they do this weekend, even though we know they ain't gonna do nothing against Ohio State, but that's another conversation. We got Dylan in the building from Real Detroit Lions fans. What's good? We got the General View in the building. What up, though? We got DMAP Zoom in the building. What's good, y'all? Let's see. We got the Great One Mike in the building. What's good? We got James Holyfield in the building. What's good, everybody? All right, so I have my confidence from the Jags game is not really going to affect how I feel about the Falcons because, like I said, I'm going week by week. I'm gonna judge each game and each team separately. I ain't drinking no Kool-Aid. I ain't jumping on no bandwagons. I ain't never getting too high on the game and never getting too low on the loss. I got that energy after losing to the Bears. Just to let y'all know. After that happened, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna let the Lions mess with my emotions this year. Ain't that what I've been saying? Like, I'm not gonna let them mess with my emotions this year. So going into this game, after that, I'm done with these guys. So going into this game, I feel like it's definitely a 50-50 game. But the thing is, I think our defense is a little bit better than Atlanta's defense, but Atlanta's wide receivers, I mean, they're better. Because Marvin Jones, I don't know what's going on with this guy. Hopefully he finally shows up. But it's an APB out for Marvin Jones right now. But so hey man, it is what it is. So man.
No, I mean you're telling the truth, man. When I look at it, their wide receiver core is definitely much better than ours is this year.
Definitely. I would love to have Calvin Ridley as my number 2 right about now. So I just feel like it's just gonna come down to which coach is coaching. Let's see. Oh, what up, though? That's my dad in the building. What's good, Dad? We got Dat Z. He says, "Say we losing Ohio State. I'm a hater, Bruh, we've never beat Ohio State. What do you mean? Tom Brady, the GOAT, is the last quarterback to beat Ohio State. But anyway, we're not gonna talk about Michigan right now. Like I'm trying to stay a little bit positive. But all right, so we gonna move on to the next thing. And this is my question to you guys and the people in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video on your way in here. Will DeAndre Swift have a repeat of last week? When I mean a repeat, I don't mean is he gonna have a 50-yard run. That's not what I mean. Is he gonna have another like really good game that's going to affect the game in our favor positively? And so what you think about that, Andrew?
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Atlanta's run defense is actually extremely good, which is surprising because their defense has been so bad. So that's concerning. And for me, it's not, is DeAndre Swift going to have a great game? It's, are the Lions going to allow him to have the potential for a great game? You know, if we give him 20 touches, I think he'll have a good game, you know, but if they're not going to give him enough touches, he's going to have an all right day. You know, I think if they involve him in the passing game and the ground game and just let him start getting fired up, I think he definitely can do well. You know, and all the people that are saying like Atlanta's defense is trash. Yeah, their defense has been god awful, but they had so many injuries to their starters and they finally are healthy, you know? So I don't care what team you are. I don't care offense, defense. When your whole entire starting defense is hurt, you're going to suck. And that's exactly what we saw. And now they got back a lot of their starters, you know, so we're finally seeing how good their defense can be. And we're pretty much going to be the test dummies. I know Vikings saw it a little bit, but we're going to be the true test dummies because they have a second
Vikings got Kirk Cousins leading the league in interceptions, though. Like, come on, man. Like, looking like hot garbage.
Right.
So, no, I think, look, you know what last game showed me? I don't think I'm no longer afraid of, are they going to give Swift the ball? They going to give him the ball. I don't think, I don't think last game was just some fluke because after he had that big run, we could have easily like stopped going to him. It was sometimes where it didn't even work and we were still going to him. Like we made a concerted effort to get him carries. And I think that that's going to continue. Like Adrian Peterson might start the game, but Swift is going to be the lead back. I do want to see him in the backfield. We didn't see him in the backfield last game, but I need to see him back in the backfield, catching the ball, of course, running the football. But I think the Lions, like one thing about this team, even though we suck, like I know that, but I think we can run the football. This team has showed us, no win or lose, that they can run the ball. And my thing is, if you're going to use Swift, then that's well better for us. And Atlanta's defense is definitely healthy. They got, Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and Austin Hooper. The weapons are there, but they're having a fire sale. So, like, this game is probably going to decide their fate because if we win this game, they're out of playoff contention. And I know you all remember us losing that game to Atlanta is the reason we didn't make the playoffs. So I would love to keep that same energy with them and just keep them out the playoffs. But at the end of the day, commitment is one thing, but okay. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video. So, this is my question to you, Andrew. What are you most worried about when it comes to matchups with the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah, honestly, it might be surprising because everyone's going to say, well, they got Julio, they got Calvin Ridley, which don't get me wrong, they do have them, but our pass defense hasn't been awful. Our pass defense surprisingly hasn't been awful. It's our run defense. So the biggest matchup is going to be if we can contain Todd Gurley. Because if we can contain Todd Gurley, you already know Julio's going to get his. You know Ridley will have some, huge plays here and there. But if you can contain the run game and force it on Matt Ryan's hand, I think that's going to be the matchup that we're going to have to win. If we don't win that, then it's going to be a real long day, man. It's going to be a really long day. What do you think?
I'm kind of worried about nothing. It's like, no, I'm worried about our defense because I feel like Atlanta, they'll score, but it's about those situational stops. And I don't want Todd Gurley to have a good game because he had 20 carries on only 47 yards. That's telling you that Atlanta is going to run the football even if he's not playing well. Like, that's what it's telling me. So I'm worried about that defense, to be honest with you, because our offense averages 27 points per game. I know Lions fans don't think our offense is good, but it kind of is. and that's the thing. Like Stafford isn't playing like an MVP, and our offense is still good. So what happens when he started playing like an MVP? Then it's gonna get bad. But we gotta not be 2-6 by that point. But that's why this is such a huge game for. Like I said, the Lions are gonna show me this game if they phonies or if they real. And when I mean real, like I don't mean a playoff team. I just mean, can you beat these bad teams? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think, as bad as Patricia is, none of us should expect nothing less than for us to beat these teams. Like, we're better than these teams. Now, if we lose, that's our own fault, But
yeah, you know what, JMO, and another big thing that's going to be important is our third down percentage. I mean, our third down percentage on both offense and defense is really bad. And we need to get those key stops on defense, and we need to get those critical plays on offense on third down. Our percentages
we were
really
killing
bad
on third down last week on both sides.
Hey, I know, which I hope continues on both sides of the ball.
The week before that though. The week before that though, Saints, woo! It's like third down was like first down to them. But right. We ain't gonna go there, y'all. We ain't gonna go there. Let's see. David Merchant says Stafford has to be more mobile. I mean, if we can get more sneak runs for him, cool. But I don't need Daryl Bell calling no keepers, or that's gonna make me pull my hair out. Like you don't understand how pissed off I feel watching Stafford call a keeper. I'm just like, why you just wasting play? Like, why you just like, I don't want this play. Let's go waste it here. But back to the matchups though. I'm not gonna sleep on their secondary. They got 3 interceptions off Kirk Cousins. We know who that is. But this Atlanta team has a lot of confidence right now. Even right off of one win. Well, they fired their coach like we should have been did. And now they got their little win, and they could go on a little streak or whatever. So I'm definitely not sleeping on this team or their weapons. But our DBs, we're gonna have to find some way to deal with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. I don't I don't know what we're gonna do because I can't single cover Julio Jones. I just can't.
You know what though, JMO? That honestly is gonna come down to not running as much man. You're not going to run man on Julio and Calvin Ridley and win. I don't care like who you are. Ridley is a phenomenal route runner, and Julio Jones is a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? So you need to run zone, and you need to just make sure that people are always aware of where those guys are on the field. That is the only way you're going to win. And you need to dial up a lot of pressure. You need to make Matt Ryan throw really bad throws, and Duron Harmon is going to have to be on top of his game because he's the last man in defense. You know what I'm saying? And he's been very good, but we can't have any slip-ups, because every single one of their players on offense can literally take it 80 yards to the house on any play. And we've seen it nonstop, So they're going to have to dial up some pressure, and they need to really make sure that they get away from man, which they have been in past weeks. I'm hoping they continue that trend.
Well, I'm hoping they continue that trend because the 2 games that we won, we ran man over 30% of the time. I mean, zone over 30% of the time. So the 2 games that we won, we ran the most zone. And I'm not saying, we're a zone team, but I'm saying it worked. That's what I'm saying. So we won. And like, what more can I say than we won? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Especially with that Arizona team. None of us expected to hold them to 23 points. Win or lose. 23 to that Arizona team, fully loaded almost. And they couldn't score. I know we got turnovers and stuff, but that comes into it. We're playing zone and missing no coverages because last time we faced Kyler Murray, we played nothing but man. Facing Kyler Murray last time. So he probably wasn't expecting us to switch it up like that. I know Gardner Minshew was seeing ghosts, but when he was talking about Matt Patricia's defense looking good and calling them a very good defense is because they were confusing them out there with the zone coverages that they were running. And I didn't really think that we were going to be able to slow down their receivers. And Keelan Cole had like 140 yards. So he still had a good day. So if they do run more zone, it'll be more successful. And on this team, I'm with you. You're going to have to run zone. Because you're not like I said, I'm not leaving the money on the island with Julio Jones. I just can't do it. Like,
Bro,
good
it'll be a
conscience.
long day. I'll tell you what. I'm about to pull a Drew and make sure I have like a whole 12-pack next week.
Like,
if that's the
but
case.
you know, we remember we had a Kudo on D Hop for a minute before we gave him help, and D Hop was just cooking him. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? Like, but
I know,
so
man.
yeah. I'm glad you brought up zone because that's to me that's the only solution because you would have to double cover Julio and then Calvin really gets 1-on-1 all game. He's gonna win some of those, so it can help them out. But to me, it's like I said in my video that I dropped. Shameless plug. Everybody in the chat, if you guys haven't watched my video that I just dropped about the Lions and the Falcons, make sure you guys watch that. If the Lions keep that same energy as last week, they'll win this game. But if they lying, which is pretty accurate, then they'll lose. So we'll see. But and when I say keep the same energy, I mean last game they were like, we gonna run the ball down y'all throat, we gonna kill y'all with play action, and we gonna stop the run. And if I feel like Atlanta's not gonna be able to beat us with just their receivers. Like Todd Gurley gonna have to have a good game. Like we shut down Todd Gurley, I think it's gonna be very hard for them to just, beat us like that.
No, I agree, man. I mean, everyone wants to say our pass defense is god awful, which it's hard, because they've given up big plays. But overall, we're actually about middle of the pack in terms of pass, defense. So if we can contain the run and force them to make those longer passes, I think it's going to be a real interesting day, because Stafford's going to have his way with Atlanta's defense. I have no doubt. I feel like this is going to be the week that they unleash him and they're like, yo, go eat. But if we can't contain Todd Gurley, dude, it's gonna be a real shit show.
Like I'm hoping because I still need I need a Marvin Jones game, but I really need a TJ Hawkinson game. Like it's messing with because he's playing so good in spite of having the numbers that's what's messing with me. Like he a touchdown machine in the red zone. Like it's messing with me that he's still playing good, but I'm like, no, I need more.
No, I mean I agree,
praying,
dude.
Please. Please let this be a TJ Hawkinson.
They need to unleash him, man. It pisses me off that you have a talented guy on offense and you're not using him enough. DeAndre Swift should be getting more touches. Hawkinson should get around 10 targets a game, and so should Golladay. I know Golladay they're easing in a little bit because of his hamstring injury and everything, but like you need to utilize your best playmakers. You don't see Kansas City limiting Kelsey to 2 freaking targets a game. Like you have a good tight end. Use him.
Yeah, man. Like I said, Stafford, just force feed him the ball. Now, he took that energy on that goal line stand when they threw 4 straight passes. He threw 3 of them boys to TJ. So, like, he kept that energy, but that's the red zone. And one thing that last week that I hope we can keep that same energy with is something that I've been harping on is why we aren't a good football team is when we get in the red zone, we don't have a lot of rushing touchdowns. Before last week, like we had 3. When the last time the Lions had 3 rushing touchdowns in the game? I want somebody to look that up for me because it's been a while. Maybe when we had Joyke Bell and Reggie Bush, last time we had 3 rushing touchdowns in the game. So
yeah, it's been a minute.
if man, I'm thinking our red zone offense might be getting a little bit better just because if we can run the ball down there, I mean, TJ Hawkinson and Kenny Golladay are touchdown machines. And when I'm looking at Atlanta's defense, how are they gonna stop that? And when like this is looking like a shootout, but I think we would be able to win it. We just gotta stop. You stop the run. Like you stop the run, eventually Atlanta's gonna slow down.
No, I mean I agree, dude. I agree. And the worst part about it is that we played Jacksonville so well in terms of run defense, so I have like some good amount of hope, I'm like, all right, like carry that over. Cause James Robinson is actually top 5 in terms of all scrimmage yards for a player this year. So the dude is getting the yardage and he was completely stuffed. So if we can do that to Gurley, which Gurley's been hot and cold this year, that's gonna be big, man. That's gonna be real big.
Let's see, Sports Today, because I remember we was talking about the drops. He actually sent me this on Twitter. He said Stafford on target throws in 2019, 70%, 2020 is 77%, bad throw percentage in 2019, 20%, in 2020, 20.6%, 2% better. Drops are the reason. Hey, catch the football, please. Like, because no, like it's a difference between like, oh man, it would have been nice if he caught that. And then it's like, yo, how did you catch something that I could have caught? Like, come on, man. Like, and we had 4 of those drops. Like all of them. Like I know TJ was making a diving catch, but like the ball was literally in your hands. And Golladay gave up on the route, and Stafford still put the ball in your hand. Like, and then carry on didn't catch it, and then Kabinda in the end zone. I'm like, if you gonna steal it from TJ, catch the ball. So it's just like, you know, we definitely got to work on that because you know, Atlanta and us, we have a lot to work on. And it's another comment that I wanted to click on before we move on. Do you think that it was a fluke beating the Jags?
No, I mean, I don't. We're definitely the superior team, dude. I mean, you look at it from top to bottom, we are better at almost every position, you know, and you can tell that they're freaking tanking, you know, because when they want to play good, they do, but then they also just suck it at the worst opportunistic times, you know, and just watching how Gardner Minshew played, he was very shaken up, you know, because we dialed up pressure, you know, he was throwing bad throws. I was looking back at some plays, man. He had some open receivers. We did a good job overall on defense, but he had some real open receivers, and the only reason why he missed them was because we had a defender in his face, you know, so we shook him up. And that's, to me, you know, you do what you had to do to get that double-digit win, you know, so that's why people are like, oh, wow, I haven't seen a double-digit win in a while, you know, but we're going to have to do that same exact thing to Atlanta. You have to shake up Matt Ryan so that he doesn't throw a perfect dime to Julio, so he doesn't throw that perfect dime to Ridley, you know?
Well, that's why I said this game is going to really, like show us, like, are the Lions, I won't even say are they for real, but are they competent? Like, I won't even say for real. Are they competent?
You know what, J-Mo? I actually have a question for you, man. Because, so, like, remember when we were doing a record prediction before the year? Everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
The funniest part about it is that almost every single one of us had us around 3-2, 2-3 to start the season. And that's exactly what we are. And people are so mad, which I'm not defending Patricia. Don't get me wrong. But as far as record goes, we're exactly where people expected.
Yeah, I was about to say Luke had us at 1-3. I think somebody else had us at 1-3. The first 4, and the rest of us had us at 2-2. Yeah. But the rest, see, and the funny thing is, we had us at 2-2, but we expected to beat the Bears. And although we all would have been pissed off, we all could have seen us losing to Atlanta, New Orleans, and Arizona. Like, we were like, you know, Arizona's going to match up. That's going to be hard. We, like, you know what I'm saying? We could have saw us losing those games. And now we're at that point. But the reason why we're pissed is like that Bears game. Like, when I tell you that Bears game scarred my heart, literally, like, you're going to see that when they open up my body when it's over for me. Because, like, it's just like, how do you let them 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter? Like, how did you just lose that game? And then you were leading by 14 against the Packers, leading by 14 against the Saints. So when you melt down like that, it's going to magnify the losses. But no, I'm with you. We're on pace for what most of us thought. I basically had us at 3-2 at this point.
I mean, it's just how we lost. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If we didn't have a big a big lead in any of those games, and we just casually were scoring, it's one thing. But every single person was looking at it, and we're like, bro, you're up double-digit points in every fucking game. Like, you cannot go from that. Like, we scored 14 points within 5 minutes of the first quarter against the Saints, and then you let them score like 28 unanswered, 35 unanswered. Like, you can't do that. Do you know how bad that looks? You know?
No, it's worse that we've had a double-digit lead in every game. So technically, we should be 5-0. So, like, and that's what it is. But no, we're right on pace. But like I said, I'm just going, like, Lions have to show me if they're competent or not. If they're going to do what we say, they should be able to beat the Falcons. And if they lose, then Patricia gets fired and we're going to be having a party. So, like I said, it's a win-win situation. If we win, yes, we won. If we lose, Patricia fired. Like, I don't see how this ends badly for us unless we blow a big lead. That's then I'll be a little bit salty. But that's why going into this game, I just need the Lions to show me that last week, that D-line, that showed me that y'all was for real. I mean, because that D-line was ferocious. And the only reason I'm taking it serious is because Jaguars had the 10th best defense in the league, and we have offense in the league, and we have the worst defense in the league going into the game. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
We literally had, like, before the Cowboys played Arizona, we literally had the worst defense, 400 yards a game, giving up total 30 points. Nobody was worse. The Jags were averaging 30 points a game. I didn't expect us to shut them down like that. So it lets me know that maybe the players are a little bit healthier, but I just have to, like, show me do that again, because, like, it could be a fluke.
Yeah, and honestly, regardless of win-loss, it's going to be how we win and how we lose. You know, I'm going to look at that more than the final thing, because there's certain things that you can't change. You know, I was watching that Patriots game back, some of the things on that, and I'll tell you what, those refs had it out for the Patriots. And I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm a football fan. I'm a Lions fan, but I'm not a Patriots fan. And there's just certain things you can't get over, man. Like, it amazes me. So if we have like a loss like we did to Atlanta a couple of years ago, I don't think anyone's gonna be like, oh, that was an awful game, blah blah blah. You know, so but if we had a double-digit lead again and we freaking lose, oh, I swear to God.
Bruh, like, everything's gonna be burned down. I'm gonna answer some of these questions in the chat. We got 24 people in the chat. Make sure it's just me and Andrew holding it down for everybody. It was some schedule changes, things happen. But make sure you guys like the video. And I'm going to throw this to you, and how confident am I with the Lions secondary overall? Well, if our D-line play like last week, I'm very confident. But if they play like they did, you know, the other four games, a.k.a. the majority, then I'm not confident. But I think Omni Warrior is a stud. I told y'all Omni Warrior was a stud when we drafted him. Andrew, I told you so.
Hey,
Akuda,
I was happy about the Omni Warrior.
I like what I'm seeing from Akuda, man. I like what I'm seeing from Akuda because he did give up that one big play where he got cooked badly, but after that, he didn't give up any big plays, and he had his best game as a Detroit Lion last game. I know he had a pick against Arizona, but he got torched that whole game. And he led us in tackles. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Akuda. Y'all know how much I love Tracy Walker. I like Deron Harmon. So if our D-line, I would say if our D-line played top 15, our secondary should be somewhere in the top 15 range. But how confident are you in the secondary, Andrew?
I'm very happy you brought up that D-line, man, because I've preached this over and over again for the past year. If your front seven cannot get pressure, I don't care if you have every elite cornerback in the entire NFL in your secondary, they're not going to stop anybody, you know? So that if they do their job, or they can even get, you know, like you said, average and middle of the league type pressure, I think our secondary can hold up. I was looking at Amani's tape. I was looking at some of his things, and the dude he's made a huge step. And I know you said, I told you, but like I was someone that was very happy when we drafted Amani. I was ecstatic. I did a lot of
but you tried to tell me like he hadn't had enough snaps last year to show you. I'm like, bro, he had 2 picks and no snaps. Like, how he cold? Like,
you might be confusing me with Real, if I'm being honest, because I was super hyped about him.
I don't think so.
Well, okay. Well, either way, look, Amani, I was watching a lot of tape. The dude's getting a lot more instinctful. I've seen this guy, you know, bite onto routes as soon as the quarterback puts his foot into the ground and starts rotating his hips. So making tackles at the point of catch. I mean, the guy's doing phenomenal. So between him, Harmon, Walker, having Kearse in there, and then I think Coleman might be back. If Coleman's back, that's going to be a huge, huge upgrade in the slot. You know, then we don't have to do anything stupid with our personnel. I think our secondary can hold up, you know, but if we play 3-man front and we play a primarily 3-4 defense, I am not confident. Our team does not have the personnel for a 3-4 defense. Exactly. Our team sucks as a 3-4 defense. When we played 4-3 last week, which is primarily what we did, we played really well. So if they play 4-3, I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I think Corey Unlund has figured out Matt Patricia's an idiot. He tried to play 3-4 without a 3-4 team. And I think Corey Underland,
linebacker for that.
Yeah, and I think Corey Underland has finally realized the strengths. And we run like, my thing is not like a 4-3, but it's always 4 people rushing. So even if one of those 4 people is a linebacker, it's always 4 people rushing. And to me, even sometimes those 4 people don't get home. But to me, that's just, you always have to have that, and that definitely that definitely matters, man, because our secondary to me is a little bit underrated. But let's talk about the injuries. So it's a lot of updates. Justin Coleman came back to practice, and it looks like he will be back, which is a miracle. Frank Ragnow will play on Sunday, but he's playing through a groin injury, so he's hurt right now. What's his name? Julian Okwara is now on IR, and then we brought up Chris somebody. So Julian Okwara is on IR. Wow. And now Austin Bryant is back from the PUP list. So we got a lot going on, a lot of moving parts. And I don't know what they're gonna do with Mike Ford, because I don't even really know what he was doing last game, maybe special teams. But I expect to see some more Mike Ford reps on special teams or whatever they're doing with him. I think they're just trying to bring him along slowly. But I just told you, like, it's a lot going on with the injuries, man. A lot of moving parts. What's your thoughts on this stuff here?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Julian Okwara thing, it sucks because I think this guy, if they unleash him and just let him go to town each play and the passing, downs, I think he has a lot of potential, because even if he can get someone out of the pocket or force them to move, that already impacted the play. So I was a little upset about that, but we weren't using him. So it's not like we were really losing someone that was a key contributor. So it's not too big of a loss. Austin Bryant coming back, I could care less, dude. The guy hasn't done crap. He constantly, has problems or injury problems. That's whatever. But the Frank Ragnow thing, that could be kind of big, if he's really having a hard time, in his movements, that could be very, impactful in our run game and everything. But even Ragnow at 0.5%, at 50%, is still a very good lineman. So I'm not too worried about him. Justin Coleman coming back, I'm not gonna lie, that is huge for me. That's probably the biggest thing on this whole injury list update, is the fact that we have our starting freaking nickel cornerback, back in. And that's where I feel like we've been lacking, is on the inside in terms of our pass coverage in the middle, and it's going to be nice. I mean, this guy has played at an elite level. So if we have him back and he can help out with Ridley, oh my God. I mean, that's going to be huge, so I'm super excited.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at this injury list, everyone went to practice today.
Wait, so was Trufant at practice? I thought he's out still.
Oh, well, the people you listed, at least.
I'm about to say, I hadn't heard about Trufant coming back.
Yeah, I don't know about Trufant, but the ones you listed, they all were practicing today, according to my knowledge. So I'm very excited. We're getting healthier, and we're getting healthier in very key positions, which is good. And I know Ragnow randomly popped up on the injury report, but I'm not too worried about the groin injury.
I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned, because Joe Dahl was talking about how he played through it and how he was so tough for playing through it. I'm like, so how hurt was he last week? Because I couldn't tell. And also, Trey Flowers and Marvin Jones were on the injury report. They did practice today, though. But Trey Flowers being on the injury report, that's a big deal to me, because he's been very good for us this year. D-Map Zoom says, I actually have Atlanta winning this game. For some reason, I don't believe our defense stopping that offense. And my brother, I agree with you there. Like, if you can't see our defense stopping that offense and you think Atlanta's gonna win, I'm not gonna fault you there, bro. Our defense is trash. Like, I'm with you. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Like, because when I tell y'all, I thought the Jags were scoring 30 no matter what versus us last week. Well, I'm like, they're gonna score 30. We're gonna have to score 35 to win, and I think we can score 35 because their defense sucks. I mean, I kind of feel the same way with Atlanta. They're going to score points. So if you think Atlanta's going to get that, then cool. But I do think we're going to score points as well. And if we stop their run game and we run the ball, then we'll see what happens.
You know what, though? It's going to come down to the first three quarters, because they've been abysmal in the fourth quarter.
Who?
Atlanta. They because like every game they just played like complete ass in the fourth quarter. Their defense would allow like 14, 20 points, stuff like that. Like it's been very bad for them in the fourth.
Okay, Ramon the New Age says, with the switch to 4-3, do you think Jared Davis has a chance now? Hell yeah. Andrew don't like Jared Davis, but we're not gonna get into a Jared Davis argument tonight. But Jared Davis is a 4-3 linebacker. He's always like his first two seasons. I'll say it until people get mad. I agree. Very good linebacker in a 4-3, and he had that great second year. The 2019, the defense just gets changed, and then Snacks becomes non-existent, and he was injured. and it just didn't go well. Like he looked like a fish out of water. Like
right. No,
but,
Jared Davis definitely plays a lot better in the 4-3, which I'm not saying he plays amazing or anything like that, but most linebackers do play better in a 4-3 because they know exactly what's going on in the D line, So that would be huge for all our linebackers, honestly. They'll all be able to execute a lot better. It's a lot more like those situational drills that they do at practice and the sense of what's happening at the line of scrimmage. So personally, since we don't have the best linebacker core, it just is the smarter thing to do is to run a 4-3.
Yeah, and I want to bring up Jared Davis and Tavai because Tavai hasn't played well at all this year, and the fans been coming at him. Tavai and Jared Davis, they're being used out of position. Like I'm seeing Tavai on the edge rushing like he Khalil Mack. I'm like, bro, why is he rushing the passer? Like Tavai is a person that you send him occasionally to rush a passer. Once in the blue moon. You know what I'm saying?
No, I feel you, man.
It's not something that should be constant. Same thing with Christian Jones. Jared Davis is the one that needs to be rushing the passer. And when I think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's some trade rumors about Jared Davis right now. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they want Jared Davis and they want him bad. They salivating at the teeth for him. And they Devin Bush has got injured. He's out for the year, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I know he's gonna be out for a while. And Jared Davis and Devin Bush are the same type of linebacker, which is why we didn't get Devin Bush. Y'all wanted Devin Bush, he injured, TJ healthy. I had to do it. I had to.
Bro, you
but hey, knock on wood, bro. I gotta be petty, dog. I gotta be petty with this TJ thing. But I love Devin Bush, by the way, as a football player.
Yeah.
But that's why they want him, because the Steelers know they can use him as a pass rusher and a hard hitter. And I'm telling you, if he went to the Steelers, that man gonna end the season with 8 sacks. And I just don't understand why we can't use him in that same fashion. Use him as like I said, outside on the weak side and occasionally in the middle, and just let him rush the passer and stop the run. He's very great at it. But we'll see. Look, I feel like if Corey Underling gets our defense together and puts our players in position, then we should be better, because nobody really thought our defense was going to be the defense from last year. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really be as bad as we were last year. So.
I mean, but we look like that so far, but besides this last game, we were literally worst defense in the league. So, right. And my thing is, why did we look identical to last year? And it's probably because Matt Patricia's too smart for his own good. This man had 172 plays, called for his defense, simplified it a bit, and maybe gave Corey Underling the reins. I'm just saying maybe our defense will look better throughout the season, because they're in the right position now. Tracy Walker's still not in the right position though, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Right.
Logan Stenberg is the backup center because we just released Ben Schwa. So let me see. Weezy D313 says, y'all happy with the passing game? Marvin Jones looking real mediocre due to the circumstances. Look, Stafford hasn't been his best. Marvin Jones ain't really showing up. I mean, Danny Amendola ain't really showing up, and we're not using TJ Hockenson enough. Kenny Golladay is a freaking monster. So, like, that's really how it's going, bro. Like, that's really how it's going. Stafford ain't playing like an MVP. And really, Golladay and TJ the only ones who doing it. So I really hope that we can see some Marvin Hall and some Jamal Agnew a little bit more. And I don't know why people are so hard on Jamal Agnew. It's like every time he touched the football, he gets a first down or he gets positive yards. Like, he's not a specialist on our team, but like last week he got a first down and a 7-yard carry. I'll take it. Like, I'll take it. But I need to see some Marvin Hall. Like, and I need Quintez Cephas to not be a healthy damn scratch. Y'all know how pissed I was about that. And I need him not to be a healthy scratch so we can have more receivers. But I don't like Marvin Jones falling off like this. This should be the game where you better eat.
He eats on those random games every year, man. I mean,
I'll tell you what. Like,
this is that random game, bro. Watch, he's gonna have those 3 touchdowns like he normally does and ball out. But like, I agree with you, man. I don't care who gets the yardage. I don't care who gets the targets if our offense looks like they're just driving. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you watch Kansas City, it could be 3rd and 26, could be whatever. I don't care the scenario. These guys, you never doubt that they're going to convert. You literally never doubt that they're going to convert, and that's what I want to see. I don't care who gets the ball. As long as you're being creative, you can incorporate all those guys you mentioned, JMO. That's what I want to see, man. When you're one-dimensional and everyone knows, well, they have Kenny Golladay, they have Hawkinson, and they have Marvin Jones. That's what we have to cover. It is what it is, and they're not going to get to a point where they're winning every single matchup, So,
well, and I mean, like, it's obviously some onus falls on Stafford, but we've been running the football. So now, you know what I'm saying? Now, like, put it like this. If Stafford was having a bad game, normally, maybe he throws, let's say, 17 more passes and can turn it around. You feel me? But now we run the ball so much that Stafford's only throwing 30 passes a game. So he has to be great within those 30 passes unless we're throwing 40 like Green Bay. You see what I'm saying? So the margin for error is lower for everybody. So if the receivers would probably be better if we just threw the ball like crazy, like normal. Now, obviously, none of us want to do that because we want to win games. Let's get that straight. But like the running game it affects the whole team. Like we've seen this before. And I know people don't like when I bring up the Packers from last year, but their offense didn't look good. But Aaron Jones was just a monster, and that's basically how it was.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, when you were mentioning that, the first thing I thought of was, man, I would love to see some up-tempo offense the whole game. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we are up-tempo, we hurry up to the offensive line, all that. I swear to God, I always feel like they can get the first down in any play. Every single time they do hurry up, I'm like, hell yeah, bro, they're about to get it. And they do. Like, I get it's hard to run up-tempo, throughout an entire game, even if you do it, like, here and there. If you do that, though, I'm telling you what, Stafford's very good at that, and it doesn't allow the defense to make, substitutions, and then you can just eat, man. And I would love to see them do that once.
We got Golden Tate cooking the Eagles receivers as usual. Just scoring a touchdown. Like we used to seeing him do that.
Right, man. You gotta love Tate.
I don't care if he ain't on the team, man. I like Tate. But no, man. At the end of the day, we just gonna have to play better. But I just hope that they can do something a little bit because I just feel like if we lose, I would like it to be the Saints or the Packers, teams that I know are better than us. You feel me? But teams that I think are on our level or we're better than, I would like us to beat them. You know what I'm saying? I would like us to beat the better teams as well. But you have a certain level of expectation when you know you're going against a juggernaut. But Atlanta is something they gonna have to go out here and improve it because the Lions, they're not, they're not really that good. But I do think the team is hitting the stride. But if this team keeps running the football, they got a bright future. Yes, I said it, but that's a big if, man, because I feel like DeAndre Swift is a stud. I didn't want to pick him as high as whenever he got picked. I've already made that evident, but like I said, I don't think. What's the difference between guys like McCaffrey, Kamara, and guys like that with DeAndre Swift or Aaron Jones? Only thing you would say is those guys are better. Those guys are better. Yeah, they are better. But it's usage. DeAndre Swift's just a rookie. You know what I'm saying? But if we used him the way that they're used, this dude is unstoppable. He can run the football and he can catch out of the backfield and he has that burst. That's one thing that I brought up. If we abuse him, we'll be winning games.
No, I agree, dude. I mean, the thing is like even players like McCaffrey, all those guys you listed, occasionally they have a game where they're averaging 2 yards a carry and they probably had 25 carries. But you know what? Their team's still going to go to them and they're going to incorporate them. And next week, they're not going to be like, well, you had such a bad game. Let me give you 5 carries or something. No, you need to give your elite, your best player in each positional group the most touches. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the best running back we have. You need to give him the most touches, not this, well, let's split with AP scenario. I get it. Everyone wanted AP to get the ball, whatever, and he was doing well. But now you can see that Swift is doing better, so.
No, that's what I was mentioning. I mean, I sound like a broken record sometimes. Shout out to everybody in the chat. But I was mentioning after that Saints game, like Swift just looked a little bit settled in now. He looked like he was used to the NFL. And I'm not saying, it's not things he can learn, but he just looked like even last game. You know what I'm saying? He just looked used to it now. He just had it was a adjustment period. He clearly looked like a fish out of water the first 2 weeks, and now that he's used to the used to the NFL, should be a debate who's the best running back on this team. But AP is just gonna get that nod. But yeah, Sports Today, I'm with you. Yeah, in 2016 we started off 1-3, but we had a coach that could win games. So I don't know how that's gonna work out, and that's why I did get a little bit upset when people like, this is the worst Stafford ever. He's worse than in 2018 and all of this. I'm like, bruh, in 2016, Stafford was playing worse than this, and we were 1-3. And when by worse, I mean touchdown to interception ratio and stuff like that. And we were 1-3, and we saw how that season ended up. So that's why I'm just like, yeah, he hasn't been playing like an MVP, but still top 12. If we talking about this season, so it's not really that much to live up to. But I definitely expect more. Like pitiful. Sometimes I be getting pissed off sometimes, you know? I expect more.
Right. I've been saying since week 1, man. I'm like, dude, Stafford's not playing right. And like, it's partly because I've seen Stafford play at such an elite level that when I see him play just only above average or just average, it looks like he's playing like shit. Because he has had very, very elite level games. You know, I mean, throws that you see once a year type throws. And to see him do shit like running into defenders in a clean pocket, taking sacks with the guy that's literally being blocked, like he's just doing stuff that I've never seen before that's very negative. So that's why I'm watching, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Or he's throwing into double coverage when he has someone open. And I get it. The guy in double coverage was deeper downfield, so you can get more yards if you make the completion. But, bro, don't make it harder on yourself than it needs to be. Hit the open guy, let him do his thing.
You can tell he's going for the big play.
No, for sure. And I get it, bro.
He know what that defense is about, dog.
Yeah, and that's how he is. But the thing is like you take the open man, you know what I'm saying? And then if he wants to take those deep shots, they need to dial him up deep shots, not force it in plays that are not meant to take that shot unless they're open, you know? So, like, I hope if he returns to how he was last year, oh my God, I'm telling you, we're gonna kill Atlanta. If he plays how he did last year,
that's what I'm saying. Like, when is the yes, he's like definitely hasn't been playing well. To me, the game that made me mad a little bit is the Saints game, because I felt like that game he was just missing throws. Like, it was just like, you know, it's like, I don't know, this sounds a little bit weird. It's missing throws and then it's missing throws. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, he was just a little bit off, and then it's just like, bro, like you can't miss that throw. I know. I wasn't really upset about Arizona. I thought he played well in that game. And last game, I thought he played well. We just had some drops, but that after that Green Bay game, we were trying to come back in that Saints game. But my thing is, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen eventually, because like, this is the problem with this team right now, and this is why I need TJ. I wish TJ was used more. Who is Stafford's security blanket?
Right.
In reality, he just throws to Golladay. No, I'm telling you, if it's third down, I'm telling you, I don't care what the play call is. If it's third down and long, he throwing to Golladay. And you'll be like, well, Golladay is his security blanket. He's not. He can just throw to him because he's that good. And when Golden Tate was here, it was Golden Tate, and when Calvin Johnson, come on.
You can tell Stafford prefers throwing to receivers. I mean, I don't care what tight end we have, he is a quarterback that prefers his receivers.
But see, that's the thing. TJ is a receiver, so I don't even want to hear that. Because Stafford throws to TJ. He does. It's just like,
no, I don't mean it like that.
You have to make him a higher read in your progression. No, I'm with you. He loves throwing to it. No, I know he loves his receivers.
I'll tell you what. When it comes to, you know, how you're saying like Stafford's missing some throws and he has like missed throws and then missed throws. When the stars align between Stafford not missing those throws that he makes and then the receivers not dropping as many passes they have, when those two stars align, dude, I'll tell you what, man, we're going to shred that defense. I don't care what team we're playing. When both those things come back together like it did last year, we're going to tear that ass up.
I'm with Andrew. I don't care if the Lions 6-10, 7-9. We're going to be the first 7-9 team scoring 30 a game. Because, like, look, bro, We already averaging 27 points per game, and we've admitted that our receivers have underperformed and Stafford has underperformed. And even the play call, the whole offense has underperformed besides the O-line and the running backs to me. So, and we're still averaging 27 points a game. And I'm with you. If Stafford get right, it's going to be trouble. I would like for us to lose so Patricia's job isn't safe, but I got to like winning games. And I got to be honest, if we face a bad team and Stafford plays well, like, we're gonna win the game.
No, I feel you, dude.
Say it, but like it's just facts. The fact of the matter is the Lions, they're 2-3. They've underachieved a lot. We want our coach going. There's a lot of crazy things going on, but at the end of the day, they're 2-3 with a beatable team on Sunday. You know, so
and you know what, JMO, one thing that people are not considering is that every NFL team right now, besides like the Jets, are scoring well above what they do normally, because every team, like they said, like this is the most points like ever scored, you know, in the first like 5-6 weeks of the season. And I expect it to start fizzling out. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of teams are going to start scoring normal points again, where like they might get 10 one week and 15 the next, you know, in certain games. And then the elite teams will have upper 20s, you know, low 30s, whatever. And then it's going to be interesting, because I think our team, even with how bad we've played and the poor execution, whatever, can still score upper 20s. So it's going to be interesting once teams really start settling back into, oh, I'm a low 20-point game, you know, type offense, whatever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I hate. I mean, what was it? Jeremy Rice, man. We've had him on the show. Shout out to you, Jeremy. He brought it up. We hate to do this, but if Swift caught that pass, we like 3-2. You know what I'm saying? And like it's a different thing. We know it's always an if, but that's a little bit different type of atmosphere, because if we lost to the Saints and the Packers, we're lying. Even the way we lost, will we be as mad if we didn't lose to the Bears? I don't think so.
No, hell no.
Like, we would be like we lost to two teams. We would be like we lost to two teams that are better than us, even though we kind of choked both of them away. And
right.
And that's my thing. My thing was the teams that the Lions lost to, none of them are bad football teams. Bears are 5-1, Packers are 4-1, Saints are 3-2, 3-3. But none of the teams that we actually got beat by are bad teams. So that lets me know that Matt Patricia is actually like Caldwell. You know, can't beat the good teams, but you can go out and you can beat Jacksonville. But I try to be positive, because we got the Kool-Aid drinking fans that thinking we about to go on a 7-8 game winning streak. I'm like, y'all, can we just win on Sunday? Because Lions fans are so wishy-washy. Because if we go Atlanta drill us, we're gonna be the most depressing team in team history. But if we win, then y'all like, it's sunshines and roses. Y'all have to, like I said, watch every game and just watch the game and take it for what it is. Never too high, never too low. But I wanted to move on to something. So me and Andrew have been having this conversation for a while. And make sure you guys drop your questions in the chat, because I'll wrap it up after this. So we've had the ongoing debate. Should the Lions sign Kenny Golladay? And I know we should sign Kenny Golladay. And I know Andrew was wrong, but I decided to give him this platform to get out his grievances. Because apparently he don't think we should sign Kenny G. I do. I'm gonna let Andrew go. I'm gonna let him start off. Why shouldn't we sign, Kenny Golladay, top 10 wide receiver? Let me know.
Bro, I gotta start off. You cracking me. You're like, he's wrong. He's that, bro. Look, everyone's gonna hate this. Every single fan is gonna hate this, because we're fans. You don't want to see your star receiver leave. I don't want to have to see Golladay leave, but from a fan perspective, it's one thing. I love Golladay. When we drafted him, before he even had a snap in the NFL, I was super hyped. Everyone was like, who the hell is this kid? I was so hyped, bro. I watched his tape. I did a lot of film study on him. I was like, this guy's going to be a baller, which he is. But the problem is, regardless of how talented you are, paying wide receivers does not work. Prime example, paying Megatron. Megatron shits on Golladay. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, Calvin Johnson is a way better receiver than Kenny Golladay is, and we paid him. What happened? Our defense fell apart. Why? Because you had money in Stafford, you had money in Golladay. I mean, you had money in Megatron, and then we couldn't keep Sue. Everyone was mad. How can you get rid of Sue? blah, blah, blah. And then our defense has been complete shit since then. So what happens if you have money invested in a couple different players and one's a wide receiver? You can't pay a lot of the other people. And I know J-Mo's going to say, well, Matthew Stafford restructured his contract. Yeah, he did restructure his contract. But you know what else we have? We just paid our left tackle. We just paid our right tackle. We just paid Trey Flowers, Coleman, Jesse James. All these people we gave, besides Trey Flowers, groundbreaking basically pay in terms of their position. So how can you pay Golladay? If you pay Golladay, we're going to be in cap hell. And I know we have the money now, but it's about year to year, because Trey Flowers and all these guys I mentioned that are on very high contracts, all of them are not making crap right now. They're all backloaded contracts, which is great in terms of thinking about it as a whole, but it's not going to be great when then you also add $100 million receiver into the mix. Okay? Another example of this. Who got paid in the league, right? Julio Jones got paid. Keenan Allen got paid. Amari Cooper got paid. AJ Green. Odell. Where are these guys? Where are their teams? Where are their teams? It breaks my heart. Don't get me wrong. It breaks my heart. But these teams invested so much in their wide receiver room that they can't pay other positions. Atlanta, their defense fell apart. They can't fucking pay anyone to come in because they invested so much in the wide receiver room. Amari Cooper, they paid Amari Cooper so much damn money that they're like, how are we going to pay Dak? We have Amari Cooper, Zeke, and Dak to sign. Who'd they sign? They signed the fucking wide receiver instead of their quarterback. And look what happened. Their offense went from an elite level offense to a god-awful offense because they couldn't pay their quarterback. Why? Partly because you invested so much damn money into your wide receiver, and also their defense fell apart. So it's not like they can just be like, oh, well, let's pay a little bit more, help out our defense, and then our team will kind of be more even. As a whole, as a team as a whole, when you invest so much into a position group, it does not work out typically, unless that position group is offensive line or defensive line, okay? Yeah, there's so many instances.
All right.
Hold on. Then you look at Then you look at teams like the Super Bowl winning teams, right? Everyone wants to say, well, Tyreek Hill got paid.
Yeah,
well, guess what?
Tyreek Hill got paid. It ain't no guess what. It ain't no guess what. He got paid. Show him the money. You gonna have your chances. Tyreek got paid, right? He was on a $2 million contract last year. $2 million. So he wasn't making anything yet. That's one thing. Then you look at other teams. The Patriots. Who the hell is their Kenny Golladay? They had Gronk. Well, J-Mo has said it multiple times on record. We have Hawkinson. Hawkinson is the next Gronk. So why do we need Golladay, right? If a team like the Patriots offense can get through that. Who are the elite wide receivers when the Eagles won the Super Bowl? Who are the elite wide receivers when the Ravens won the Super Bowl? This is the common theme, okay? Who were the elite wide receivers when San Fran just went to the Super Bowl last year? Nobody. You know why? Because they invested their capital. They didn't win because they didn't have elite receivers. Like, they won because they were good. If they had elite receivers, then San Francisco would be Super Bowl champions, but they don't.
Listen, this is the point, though. Their team was so stacked on defense, and they had an elite level run game that they got by all the way to the Super Bowl without an elite level receiver. Case Keenum made it to the NFC Championship because their defense was allowing 14 points a game. Case freaking Keenum. Okay.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but what you're talking about teams that did something and they happen to not have a good receiver. They didn't do that because they wasted money or spent money somewhere else. Like, just because a team is successful and they happen to not have Antonio Brown on the team doesn't mean they're gonna win. Like, all of the Steelers' woes, nobody ever said it was because of AB. So
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you can pay that defense, you can pay that O-line, man.
But my thing is the Lions have $30 million in cap space. So I don't want to hear that we can't afford to pay Kenny Golladay. Stafford did restructure his deal. So we have even more money to free up this season. And you pay Kenny Golladay for multiple reasons. One, he's earned it. Two, he's good enough. And three, even once you pay him, it now gives him trade value. You bring up Odell. Yeah, they had to eat that cap, so you might want to make sure you don't do something like that. But they traded Odell on that contract and got compensation. You talk about Cleveland not having success. It's not because of Odell. It's because of Baker Mayfield is garbage. Now, and we move on to other teams that paid their wide receivers. Some teams, it's levels and steps. Like, like the Arizona Cardinals, they had so much draft capital and everything. They're not going to be in cap hell because they paid DeAndre Hopkins. They could afford to pay DeAndre Hopkins. They had to move some things around, and you see they have a young defense that they're building on. Like when I guarantee you, 3 years from now, when DK Metcalf comes up to be paid, Seattle is going to open the Brinks truck for DK Metcalf with that. So receivers, every team but the Lions pay receivers. And when you bring
I'm
up
gonna give you
Calvin
two
Johnson,
examples.
man,
I'll
no.
let
When you
you finish.
bring up Calvin Johnson, I really don't like the Calvin Johnson comparison in the slightest because we didn't just pay Calvin Johnson. We made him the highest paid receiver in NFL history. It wasn't like he was due and he got paid. We literally overpaid him, the most hugest, groundbreaking deal. And I think Kenny Golladay deal will be a little bit different from that. And my thing is, when you look at the Lions, it's a certain amount of money invested into the defense, certain amount of money invested into the offense. This year, the Lions are 16th when it comes to amount of money and draft capital invested into the offense. Into the defense. And they're 22nd. And when you look at how much money is actually invested into the wide receiver position, we don't have any money invested into the wide receiver position right now. Danny Amendola is going to be gone. Marvin Jones is going to be gone. And if we don't pay Golladay, Golladay will be gone. So we'll be left with no wide receivers and not paying anybody any money. So that's another reason why you can have Golladay there, because it will still be 12 to 13 teams, even 14 teams paying more at their wide receiving position than us. And I think Golladay is a staple that you can build with regardless of the regime change, regardless of quarterback changes. And TJ Hawkinson gonna get his money. Don't try to divide and conquer, dog. You need a number one receiver and you need a stud tight end. Or you can just have run of the mill. But I feel like every team is different. You got to do what's best for your specific team. I don't care what's going on in Kansas City. There's no way that you can get me to believe that they shouldn't pay Tyreek Hill. Like if Tyreek was like, pay me this and pay me that. And if they've like, nah, I bet you won't see them in no more Super Bowls. So it's in certain teams, it's different. Like the Patriots, they didn't have to pay any of those receivers there because they had Gronk. Like we got Gronk and they had Tom Brady. If you got a guy that can turn Danny Amendola into a star, why are you paying receivers? I feel like, and they had Bill Belichick. So every team is different. Like a team like the Ravens, if we were like Ravens, y'all want Kenny Golladay? Bruh, they would pay that man and they would say thank you. And we would take all their defensive talent. And who knows? But I just feel like that works. I just feel like I don't understand why the Lions wouldn't pay him when we can afford. It's not something that's going to cripple us down the road. We've been setting up money for this for a long time. And if we paid him earlier, we wouldn't be going through this. But when a guy has earned his money and you drafted him, you have to pay this guy.
Look, here's the problem. The two of like the top 5 most dominant teams in this past decade have been the Steelers and the Patriots. Okay. I know the Patriots are ties, whatever. I don't even care about that. I'm talking about pure success. You know what the common theme is? They have receivers that play into their scheme. They draft receivers. They don't overpay for receivers. They have very good defenses, good scoring defenses. Okay. They have run games.
But didn't Antonio Holmes and Antonio Brown get big contracts with the Steelers?
I know AB did, but they got rid of him. AB,
but they only got, we know why they got rid. They paid Santonio Holmes too, though.
I honestly can't even recall. It's been so long for Antonio
Holmes is the one that cost the touchdown in the Super Bowl. He was a very good receiver.
But no, I know who he is, but I don't know about his contract. But what I'm saying is, like,
they
dude,
paid Santonio too.
Okay, they drafted so many good receivers. Every freaking receiver that comes to the Steelers is literally a good receiver. So they don't have to freaking pay them, man. And the reason why they've been so good is because of their defense. Any NFL team that has had success literally has had a dominant defense, some sort of run game, a quarterback that's not a freaking Dwayne Haskins type quarterback, and they're able to get by. You know what I'm saying? And I know you're like, well, they had Gronk, blah, 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 and like whatever. I'm like, okay, but we have Hawkinson. We have a good offensive line. We have DeAndre Swift. We have all these guys, right? Why would we go and invest?
Not the best. He's not the best offensive player on the team, though. It's Kenny Golladay.
But look, if you don't have Golladay, you have to use Hawkinson more.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
How did that work out the first 2 weeks? Like Hawkinson did get more
Exactly.
targets, but it's not like even with Travis Kelce, man, your tight end is never going to be your number one receiver if you still have other top 10 receiver caliber guys. Like Zach Ertz can lead in catches because there's nobody over there, but like Tyreek Hill is always going to get those looks. Like George Kittle doesn't really have any receivers, but if he had a dominant receiver over there, they're going to get those looks. At Tampa Bay, they got a good tight end. They're going to get those looks no matter how good the tight end is. Sometimes Travis Kelce leads in catches. We know he's a unicorn. But at the end of the day, Golladay is still the guy. And we see that. We couldn't even get close to winning the game without Golladay out there. I still don't think we lose to the Bears if Golladay is on the field. And my thing is he's affecting winning and losing on top of that. Like when we lost Calvin and we replaced it with like Golden Tate and Marvin Jones. And I was watching some of those old Lions teams. Our offense really did miss Calvin, but like Stafford overshadowed that a little bit. But our offense, it missed Calvin, and I could tell. But regardless of that, it wasn't the same. And I feel like
let me ask you something,
losing Golladay now, I can't. What?
DeBread brought up like how much you willing per year to take, and he's like, I think I'm only willing to pay him like $15 million.
I ain't want to comment. I ain't want to comment on it because that $15 million a year is dead.
Because look,
that's dead.
Every single player nowadays, when they get contracts, they typically break the record for the contract of the year or whatever. So Golladay is going to get over $100 million, and it's going to be close to $20 million a year.
I don't know if he's going to get over. Man, look, man.
Well, here's the thing, Jim. How many years are you extending him for?
Dog.
How many years are you extending him for?
I would extend him for 3 years.
That's it?
Yeah, because he'll be 31.
Okay, so you extend him for 3 years. That's going to be at least $60 million.
I'm about to say 60, 70 million. I would do that. I would do that.
Well, that's like $22 million a year.
Man, no, it's not.
Well, you said 60, 70, bro. That's around 22, 23 million a year in between. That's a lot of money, bro. That's all I'm saying, man. It's a lot of money to invest. And let's say Golladay gets hurt.
We'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out. Like, stop being pessimistic. Like Devin 99 said, Myles Garrett, paid. Austin Hooper, paid. OBJ, paid. Conklin, paid. Come on, man. We can afford
where they at, bro?
Bro, but it's not. What you mean they 4-2, ain't they?
Bro, did you watch their games? That has been bad.
I know they the Browns. They got Baker Mayfield, but you said where they at? They're 4-2. The Browns have shown you. The Browns are one of the most talented teams in the entire league. And they've shown you that even if your quarterback is terrible, talent can help you beat bad teams and lead you to 4-2. Because all the games that the Browns won, it was Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt running the football and their talent. So the Browns are so talented that they can't help winning some games. Just like remember the Bears, that they were so talented that even with Trubisky, they won 8 games. So we can afford to pay. We can afford to pay. Like we got a lot of cap space, man. And the cap. Well, I can't say the cap is gonna go up because of the COVID stuff. Well, eventually it is gonna go up. And I'm not like when Amari Cooper get paid $20 million, it scares me, but I'm not. I just think you got to get away with 17, 18 somehow, man. The Lions, they should have just paid him before the season started, dog.
Yeah, whatever, I mean, if they did before, he wouldn't have been making as much.
Bro, he'd been making $15 million, dog. But look, I'm gonna stay positive. Like, and my thing is, I do think highly of Stafford, but I didn't expect him. Maybe the team wasn't used to, but I didn't expect him to look like that without Golladay. So like it was but when you look at the other guys, Drew Brees without Michael Thomas, when Brady don't have Evans and Godwin, like when you don't got your guy, it doesn't matter if you're Patrick Mahomes. Like when you don't got your guy, you're gonna look different, especially if that guy's the best offensive weapon on your team. Like how would Mahomes look without Travis Kelce out there? Yeah, he probably could win a Super Bowl without him, but how would he look? It wouldn't look the same. So, and I feel like Golladay and like the coverages, man, because if we just replace Marvin Jones with a much better receiver, no offense to you, Marvin, I hope he gets together. Like if we had Calvin Ridley instead of Marvin Jones, I think we would see the value of Golladay even more. Because and when Calvin Ridley rookie season, then he had like 11 touchdowns with like Julio Jones playing, and you saw like, dang, Julio let Calvin go crazy.
Right. Ridley is definitely a number one receiver. I know if Julio wasn't there, Ridley would literally be a dominant number one receiver. You know what I'm saying? So, like, having that as your second receiver is something on another level. But I do have to comment on what Steve-O's saying. He's like, if Golladay was catching 90 to 100 passes, whatever. And I was looking because I was thinking about, like, man, Golladay really doesn't catch it. And I was breaking down the math, and the dude's literally getting like 4 receptions per game on average. To me, if I'm only getting 4 catches out of you a game, you ain't making no freaking $20 million. I'm telling you that.
No, that's relative to the way the team is constructed, though. That's not by design. Those Michael Thomas getting 90 yards or 100 receptions. Please name me any of the receivers on their team before they got Emmanuel Sanders. Like, they didn't have nobody else to go to. Y'all know how much I love DeAndre Hopkins, but when D-Hop was putting up crazy numbers, like when Kyler was there, Kyler just throwing to him and nobody else. But when you put Deshaun Watson, they ain't had nobody else to throw to. And if Golladay, like, we didn't have no Marvin Jones and we didn't have no TJ Hockenson, and like it was when we had Calvin Johnson, and yeah, he'll put up those numbers. But when you on a stacked offensive team, you can't find me an offensive team that's stacked like that and the receiver putting up those numbers. Like, it's not gonna happen because you spread the ball around. Golladay did lead the NFL in touchdowns without Stafford, though, and I think that should mean that should mean for something. And like in the red zone, he is just a touchdown machine. And like, I don't know, man. I don't have that much confidence in this team, but in the red zone, man,
he's a phenomenal, contested catch wide receiver.
I think he's the best at the league at 50-50 balls. That's what I think. So I just don't want to give that up. I don't want to give that up. Like, especially, well, we don't really have any money invested in any receivers anywhere else. Like, you could just pay Golladay and then draft somebody in like the 4th round. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were telling me this year receiving draft was coming up, I might be a little different. Because I knew guys were gonna be studs. Like Claypool, Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. I'm like, oh yeah, those guys are gonna be good, and they're gonna be good. So if it was something like that, I might feel a little bit different. I don't really know how this wide receiver class is this year, but it ain't greatest wide receiver class of all time. Like, I can't believe it's actually living. It's literally living up to the hype of being the greatest wide receiver class ever. Like, you got guys like Chenault. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's living up to that. But Lions got to pay their players, man, because nobody will ever want to come here. But all right, guys. What?
Sorry, I was going to say the problem is we're in one of those situations where it's like when we pay someone and we overpay, everyone's mad. When we don't pay someone and they leave, they get mad. When we trade someone, oh, you're ruining the locker room, they get mad. So it's like, man, when other teams get rid of their players and they do something good, they're like, wow, that's a great move. Gave us some draft capital, whatever. When we do it, it's the end of the world, man.
Like, just pay them, man. And if you would have asked me, even though Calvin Johnson's my favorite Lion, him or Sue, I'm going with Sue. But to me, I don't think it was either or. I think Sue wanted to get out of here, and he was like, "Just give me $5 million more, and I'll stay." And it was like, you know what? Nope. He's like, all right. Like, I would have cut somebody. I'm sorry, I would have cut somebody else and kept them both. You know what I'm saying? Or I would have been like, Calvin, let's restructure the deal so we can keep the team together. I think Calvin likes winning. So but I'm pretty sure they probably let his agent control a lot of things. Like, no, he Calvin Johnson. Boy, you better pay that man whatever.
Right.
But all right, guys. Make sure you drop your questions in the chat. Make sure you like the video if you haven't already. And we just gonna wrap it up. But Andrew, man, any final thoughts about this game this week? Like, what is like? It's just so weird to me, because like, we don't like this guy, Patricia, but our team could win games. And like, I'm so conflicted. You feel me? Like, you can hear it in my voice. I'm just like, how can I think we can win a game when I don't want us to necessarily win, but I don't want us to lose? So like, what the hell do I do? Like,
look, I'll tell you what, J-Mo, it's very rare that I will ever root for a loss. Even last year, I was like, man, it's because it's okay. It is hard as a fan to watch your team lose, let alone to say, I want them to lose. It's a football season. It's not a basketball game, where one loss is not a big deal. In football, you lose one game, that's playoff contention or out of playoff contention. So for me, I want Patricia gone and I want change, but I don't want to just see us lose to teams we can beat. So when I'm looking at Atlanta, I'm looking at a team that could either play in a very elite level and put up 40 points, or they could have a complete dud, put up 20 points, have a couple interceptions, be complete shit on defense. So I want to see us go out, have a dominant win, show that, last week was not a fluke, that we can beat a team that has more talent, and we can beat teams that are 1-5. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I expect, and I can't just be like, oh, I want us to lose because that just breaks my heart. We're only 2-3.
Right.
So I don't want to just see us
people acting like we
blow the
1-5
season for it. Yeah, and there's a lot of teams that are already at 0-6, 1-5 that are already going to have more than likely a better draft spot than us. So I don't want to just be like, well, let's lose and do this and tank for this person, whatever. No, dude, because it's going to be a repetitive cycle. I want to see us be competitive and build upon what we have. Because when you lose like this and you just give up, the locker room gives up. And nothing's worse than watching your team give up before the game is even over and just seeing these guys defeat it. That's just awful for your franchise.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, though. But that's the thing that I was trying to tell people about this team. Lions don't have quitters on this team anymore. Like we got Adrian Peterson. Like, do I need to say more? Like everybody know, ain't no quitting Adrian Peterson. Like that don't even have to be questioned. And so we got guys like Jamie Collins, guys like Deron Harmon. I know you saw Deron Harmon and Danny Shelton hype video before that Arizona game. Like, if I had saw that before the Arizona game, I probably would have bet on the game. Like, I would have been like, oh yeah, we winning for real. Like, oh, they that fired up. And it's just about Trey Flowers. You saw his little speech before the game. We have players on the team that aren't quitters. And that's why Patricia wanted to go get more of his guys. Because do you think Jeff Okudah's a quitter? No. Like, he's not gonna quit because the team is bad and be like, they like the coach, I guess. I don't think Stafford likes him, but I think Patricia brought in his guys, and his guys aren't quitters. That's why when we expect the ship to fall off a cliff, that's why when we expect everything to be terrible, no, the Lions gonna be like, no, we're gonna go out and smack the Jags because we not gonna quit. And I love, like I said, J-Ron Curse is my new favorite line, and talking smack on Twitter and then delivering it on the field. Like, I love it. So. That's where I'm at with the team. Like I said, the Lions will show me who they really are on Sunday. If they go out and they dominate Atlanta, I'm gonna have the little eye emojis. Like, I'll be like, really? But if they go out and dominate Atlanta, if they go out and win, my dad says 17 and a half, 4 years. I like that for Golladay. He might want even more at this point, but I would love if we can get him for that, because like $20 million just makes me feel different.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's why I'm like, bro, you keep asking for it, and when
it can be $19.675 million and not be cool. But if it's like that 20 number, dog, you'd be like 20 mil. Like, it hurts. As long as it's not 20 mil.
That's like when you have your wallet out and you're on a date and you give up that last bill.
You like, dang, man.
So we going home after this, right?
Right. Like, you know this was an expensive meal, right? So look, everybody's favorite Lion, Travis Fulgham, just made a catch, y'all. Congrats. I just had to troll like that because I don't understand the Travis Fulgham overrate. He's gonna be a very good receiver, but we didn't give up on him. We didn't lose anything with him. But that's neither here nor there. If you guys have any more questions, drop it in the chat. But like I said, the Lions are gonna show us who they really are on Sunday. Like, if we all lose and get crushed by Atlanta, or we all go out and win. And it's very simple. Like, I do think this team has talent on it, but our coaching staff is probably some of the worst in the league, and that's why we can't win games. Simple as that.
Yeah,
but,
I did see a question though. It was about that Quinnen Williams, and that's the only thing, and then we can wrap up. Would you trade a second rounder for him?
I don't know, man. Anyone who knows me knows I was the highest of the high on Quinnen Williams. Mm-hmm. But then he went to the Jets. So
they poisoned him.
I don't like, and I haven't been watching him under a microscope. Jets fans say he's not performing or whatever. Like, so I haven't been watching him, but I still think very highly of Quinnen Williams. My thing is, I also think very highly of John Penasini. I also think very highly of Danny Shelton. So I don't know if DT is as big as a thing to give up a second round pick for. You see what I'm saying? Like if it was like second round pick is a huge asset. But if you ask me if the Lions did this, would I be upset? No. I love Quinnen Williams, but I don't know if I would do this because I think our D tackle position, like John Pennicini, is a stud, bro. And yes, I said that word. This dude is very underrated. And Nick Williams had his best game of the season. Like he was exploding through the line. So if they do it, cool. But I don't necessarily know if I want to give up that much for him. What's your thoughts?
Look, I'll tell you right now, I'm doing that in a heartbeat. The dude was a 3rd overall pick literally last year. Like, it's not like it was like 4 years ago and we saw a lot, whatever. He was a 3rd overall pick, and he went to the worst possible team. Literally the worst team in the NFL. He went to the worst team in the NFL. They gave away all their defensive talent. A lot of their good players are hurt on defense. What is he going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is he really going to do? You plug him into a defense.
I'm about to say, what is he going to do here, though?
I know, but here's the thing. So, like
who's
imagine
he starting over? Whose spot is he taking?
So here's the thing, though. In the 3-4 defense, I'm probably not making that trade because he's not going to fit in. You put us into a 4-3 defense, and Quinnen Williams, Danny Shelton, Trey Flowers, and then our end can be a variety of people.
Deshaun.
Yeah, you have Deshaun Hand, you have Okwara, both Okwaras, and you have Pennicini. So when you need those rotations, bro, that's a dominant D line at that point. You know what I'm saying? So that would be nice to see.
Have you been watching him though? Like, is he like not good or like that's what I'm saying? Like, I don't really.
No one's watching the Jets.
I don't know what it. I don't know. Right? That's what I'm saying. Like nobody. Like I know nobody watched the Lions, but y'all really don't watch the Jets.
Here's the thing, though. For what I'm looking at if you change the scheme, that already benefits him, for one. Then two, the talent around him would be much better than the talent around him in the Jets. And then he's only 1 year out, man. And this kid's young. Like, he's a young NFL player. So he has all the talent from coming out of college, and then you coach him up a little bit, you add talent around him. I think he can make that jump. So even if they're saying he's underperforming, if you give him a couple of those pieces, he's going to do a lot better.
Yeah, like that's what Devin's talking about. He's been solid, but he's not going to perform with anybody around him. Look, if they trade for him, I love Quinnen Williams. Like, so I'm cool. Like, I wanted it. I don't have it. There's nothing. I don't have any problems. But like, I'll put it like this: Ndamukong Suh didn't need talent around him to be Ndamukong Suh. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean him, Aaron Donald, but these guys are generational talents. I think Quinnen Williams is a very good guy.
Quinnen Williams is supposed to be in that same ilk, 3rd overall pick, and I mean, I couldn't tell y'all how I was on this guy. I thought he was like the real deal 100%. I'm not saying he's not. Definitely not saying that. But I was like, I thought he was a Sue Aaron Donald type guy. Like, I really did. Now he went to the Jets, so you can't like it's literally you got sent to purgatory. So I understand. So, but if that's the case, maybe I do agree with you. Not change my mind a little bit. Maybe I would take a beat on him because if you put him around Trey Flowers and Danny Shelton, like the Patriots guys who used to winning, and I just said Deshaun Hand because Deshaun Hand was our starting defensive end last game. I think Nick Williams and Danny Shelton. But you put him around our D line, then he might be a monster. Like he might be a monster, honestly. So Lions, I see who said it. Marcus Willis said Bob Quinn is terrible with 2nd round picks, so pull the trigger. You know what? Yeah, I changed my mind.
That's true, dude. That is so true.
Pull the trigger on Quinnen Williams. Bring him over here so we can have a stud D line because once Danny Shelton and Nick Williams are gone, we're gonna need some replacements. And that replacement, like, could you imagine your D line being Pennicini and Quinnen Williams? I think I like 2 years from now. I think I like that type of energy. I definitely do, but no, he might actually help in the 3-4 just because he's better than our other D linemen. Like for a 3-4, you need linebackers, but you do need the Ndamukong Suh level D tackles too. So it just depends. But all right, guys, we're gonna wrap up the show. And Andrew, before you give your final thoughts, please tell me why you're wrong about how we shouldn't bring in Kenny Golladay.
Bro, we're just gonna see, bro. The worst part about it is, like, as a fan, I don't want him to go. The dude's exciting, he's talented, he's a beast, but like from a business standpoint, I don't want to see us make a mistake and invest way too much capital in that. And I know you guys are like, well, we have money and this and that. But what if it is more than $20 million a year? You know what I'm saying? That's what's gonna
then
piss
you
me
gonna
off.
hear a different J-Mo, but hey, they ain't talking about the price range. So until then, we gonna speculate that it's not 20 million. Like,
dude, I don't know, man. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. And a part of it is like, why haven't they paid him yet? You know what I'm saying? Like, you paid Decker, you know, you paid people, you restructured Stafford's contract. Like, what are you waiting for? He was injured the first couple of weeks. If there was ever a time, that's when you pay the man, you know?
Right. All right, guys. Look, we go out and get Quinnen Williams. I might be jumping for joy because like everyone knows who watch my channel. Like I told you, I was stupid high on this guy. I wanted us to trade up to get him. Like I wanted him badly. So but Bob Quinn, you know, are you about that life, Bob Quinn? I don't really know if you are. Shout out to you, the Logic son. Make sure you guys like the video. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Andrew coming by to hold it down. It's all good, man. But
I can't let you hang it, bro.
Hey, thanks. All I gotta say is we gonna find out, will a real Lions team please stand up on Sunday? Like, I need y'all to either get shellacked or dominate. I don't need no in between. Like, either get blown out by 30 or win by 20. Like, I don't need no last second field goal from Matt Prater type roller coaster. Like, please show us what team are y'all. Like, are y'all a team that's average or are y'all a horrible football team? You know, let's see what it is. End of the day. But we all gonna find out on Sunday for sure. So we'll see what happens with the Lions. Shout out to all of the Lions fans out there, and we out.